Hey everyone, welcome. This one's going to be sort of like a no comics for old men. You know, I've been talking a lot about companies that are trying to get your money and it's not in, you know, they're not good for the industry, and a lot of other things about the bankruptcy, and like, you know, I've lost sight of what makes comics great and what I love about comics and the people that keep it going regardless of the big machine that we all are involved in and as a comic shop owners. Are the indie guys that are out there making their books regardless of having a publisher, creating their own publisher, making some cool stuff. And we're going to talk about some people that are coming up, the up and comers, the ones that are, you know, just coming out of school or still in school. First, I'm going to talk about, you've probably seen these guys on Instagram. If you have a hashtag comics that you search, or if a lot of your content is comics, you'll probably have seen Baron Templar. I smudged the autographs, my fault. There's a little bit of schmutz on there. This is two brothers. They're from Jersey, I believe. I wanted to have them on and talk about it. They've been doing a lot of stuff on YouTube and Instagram. This is number 1. They are up to number 3. It's a cool book. It's got some political intrigue in it. And there's another book I'll talk about that also has some political intrigue. And when I say that, I don't mean this fantasy world's political intrigue. They've built like a whole world that has, you know, an economy and politics, and so yeah, it's got a little bit of everything going on. It is quite wordy, but it is an interesting story. It is number 1, so they're trying to fit a lot of stuff in. So I'm gonna give them a break on the wordiness. One brother's the writer, one brother's the artist. The story, you know me, I don't like a lot of writing, but I liked the story. The art has some flashes of greatness. I think it is hard for a new artist to get this big of a book out in a short period of time. I don't think I asked him where he went to school, if he went to school or he's just self-taught. If you can see, there's some cool paneling ideas. I'm really excited to see where these guys take this and how, like, from their first book, moving it up. You know, now they're on their 3rd book, which I wasn't able to get the 2nd book yet. So where I found these guys was at a great show in New Jersey. It's called Winterfest. The same guy who runs Garden State Fest runs one in January or February, like beginning of February, right around there. And he had a lot of indie guys there pitching their books to people. I loved seeing that. Oh, by the way, they had a little card you got with it, so also cool. I know they crowdfund their books, so look for these guys. If you don't see them at a con, look for them on crowdfunding. Baron Templar. So it was, I believe it was Steve and Shane that I met. It might have been Guy. It says Guy there, but I know one of the guys' name is Steve. I'm an old man. You guys know how I am with names, but Baron Templar is the most important part. Go check that out. Now, I ran into this other guy. What drew me over his table is, you know, I'm an 80s metalhead, and this cover just made me melt. I was like, oh, I love this, right? Not everybody gonna love this art. Art is subjective. We're not gonna argue over what's good and what's bad art. You can argue about technical things like whether their anatomy is correct, or if everything is the same throughout, then it's fantasy drawing, right? So like the anatomy may be different in their world. If it's inconsistent throughout the book, then we're talking about skills and we're not talking about art style, right? So as art style, I love this kind of stuff. It's a really cool book. It's called Tainted Ones. It's from J.M. DeSantis. He makes a lot of books. He runs a Patreon. He does some advertising. Go out and get your advertising for your books, man. Get your book paid for so that when you're selling it, you're making a pure profit. Congratulate this guy on getting this book out. This is like a small little sampler. It's a cool little story. I really love the art. There is one of my favorite things, not a lot of writing, a lot of action, and a lot of cool, you know, this black and white takes me back to the 80s, that whole black and white boom. But if you like color, he also does these books. I cannot say that word. It's an Indian goddess, and I'm not even going to attempt it, but let's take a long look at it. You can look at the name. J.M. DeSantis is the writer. This book is an anthology where there's 3 different stories, 3 different artists, and each one gives you a different feel. Really strong themes, which I appreciated. Stories that really don't get told, like domestic violence. These books really hit it off for me. Like I said, he does Patreon, but he also does a lot of conventions. So this show is in Northern Jersey. Jersey. I think you're going to see a lot of these guys in Northern Jersey shows, in Jersey shows, maybe Philadelphia shows, and that southern region of Pennsylvania, and maybe in some of the New York shows. The city shows, the tables are so expensive. If they have enough money and they can get to the New York City shows, they would probably go, but the tables like are astronomical. You really have to make a lot of money to make it worth your while to go there. Yeah, you have an opportunity at a lot of people are crossing your table. But a lot of the people that go to the big cons are there to see the things they already know. As adventurous as it seems, I feel the really big cons are not very adventurous. People aren't looking to discover new things. They're looking to get the things they already have discovered. Signatures from artists they already love, books from writers they love, meeting the different companies. Again, Tainted ones, and then I think he had a lot of books. I think he's been doing it a while. You can tell how much I love this book. I bought a bunch of them. But J.M. DeSantis, I'm going to try to have all their links, if I can find them, in the description for the different artists. I think I talked about this book before, but I'm going to talk about it again. It's a cool little book. It's called Dante. So this is a book about a dog that's been genetically engineered. Not a transformer, more like a Voltron. He has a full-size robot dog that he can work with because of his vast intelligence, because of his genetic ability. You know, another black and white, cool book. The story's pretty good, you know, regular comic book themes. The art goes along with the story, it fits it. Again, there's some panels that are better than others, but this is a guy coming brand new into the business. It's his first issue. But one of the coolest things, what he does for a living is he's a dog trainer. So what I love about this book is on the last page of all of his books going forward is a little thing on how to train your dog. And I think that's a great added bonus for anybody who's buying it, who's a dog lover. If you're a dog lover, you should go out and get this book, Dante. It's really cool. You can tell how much time he's spent with animals when you're reading the book. And, you know, you can kind of, if you own a dog, you can kind of see your dog in this dog. Yeah, it's a really cool book, and he's a really cool guy. That's the other thing, is like just a really down-to-earth guy. He's not trying to make he's not trying to be a millionaire. He just has a passion for comics and dogs. He's put it out in a book, and you should go out and get it. Dante, A Cosmic Journey, Dante. Now this guy does Kickstarters, and his books are very, very professional. He writes them. I can't say that word. Naosis, Naosis. Yeah, I'm not good at pronunciation. This book is pro all the way. This guy is making books as good as the big three. I don't know who his editor is. This is the thing that I was impressed. Well, this is also has a lot of political intrigue in it. Has some really deep themes. And I really like the way he did his villain. And is he the villain? I don't want to say Thanos, but like kind of Thanos-esque, where he has a reason for doing what he's doing because of the way he looks. He's very frightening. That's another thing. If your charisma gives off nice guy, you can do bad things and people are like, oh, well, he either didn't mean it or he probably was doing it for the betterment of something else. But if your charisma is a little bit on the negative side and bad, so then a lot of the stuff you're doing is, villainous. So I didn't get volume 2 yet, so I don't know how it ends or what goes on with the guy who is sort of the villain, I guess. But this is him here. The art is really good. I probably should or could mention the artist. It's all created by Paul Thayer. He's the writer. The artist was Samuel Marquez, who I'm not familiar with. Peter Carlson was the letterer, and the colorist was Prasad Roa. And I'm probably killing that name too. This book is so professional. Now, it is a $50 trade. Small press and independent guys, this book cost him a lot to make. He is probably not making very much on this book. And I'm not talking about the printing. You know, some people will probably jump on and go, oh, well, the printing, how many pages, and this is how much it'll cost. Yeah. But we're talking about the artist, the letterer, the colorer, the editing. If Paul Thayer is the guy who's editing this book, somebody in the big company should hire him. I don't know if that is what he wants to do or if he wants to just continue to make his books. He is also a crowdfunder. This is another one this is a single issue. This is one of 4 of the Omega 2090. The card stock, the quality of the book is really high end for an indie, right? Just really good art. I met him in Baltimore and then I met him in Jersey. So he is on the con circuit. Like, you can find him. The books were very well written. The art was the standard if you'd seen a Marvel or a DC book. Very, very high end. Then it's up to the subjective part, the art part, right? The writer, his story. Some people will like it, some people won't, but I think you should check it out. See some synopsis, see if you can get a free 3-page or 4-page to see if you like the style of writing. I was very impressed with it all around. For the price point, I really can't carry it in my shop, but I will continue to buy it for myself. Hey, I'm gonna have to cut this. I thought this would be a nice short video, but you know, passionate about indies, so I've run a little long. So we're gonna cut it here, keep reading comics, and come back for part 2.